Hello everybody, my name is KingStix, and in this video we're going to be exploring the new interesting changes coming in patch 8.10. In the upcoming patch 8.10, the two main changes we're going to be seeing are for AD carries and for junglers. Now for AD carries, it's going to be more focused on their items, and for junglers, it's going to be more focused around their initial clear involving scuttle crap. Let's talk about AD carries first. So staying in the bot lane has been way too good. It's not aggressive enough and there's not enough kills in general, especially in the pro scene. To counteract this, every AD carry is going to be getting a armor and health regen nerf to cut down on their sustain in laning phase so you can be poked down easier and enemies can get kills easier. Not only that, but we're going to be seeing a movement speed nerf to fleet of footwork, especially in the early game. In the late game, it'll still be the same amount of movement speed, so no worries there. I think this is a great nerf since every AD carry is taking fleet of footwork. This will also help to balance Graves since he is very OP right now. He's the #1 jungler, and the main keystone he does take is fleet footwork. This will help to kill his early game a little bit. Infinity Edge is going to become much more expensive. It's currently 3,400 gold. In the upcoming patch, it's going to become 3,700 gold, and it's going to be a little bit different. You're not going to want to build it early on. It's something you're going to want to build for your end item or maybe for your 4th or 5th item. It's going to be giving you 10 more AD. It's also going to be doubling your critical strike chance. Not only that, but 20% of your critical strike damage is going to be converted into true damage. This is really crazy. It's another nerf to tanks. I don't think AD carries really need this in the late game, because AD carries in the late game are already so overwhelming. Consistent, overwhelming true damage in the mid and late game isn't really what the meta needs right now, but that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Essence Reaver is also getting a mini rework. It is no longer going to be granting critical strike chance, and it is also no longer going to be giving you any CDR based on your critical strike chance. What they're trying to do is make Essence Reaver stand alone, so you might be able to build it as a first item, similar to how Trinity Force is a standalone item. Whenever you build Trinity Force, you don't really need any other item. It stands alone. It does a good job at it. That's really what they're trying to get across with the new Essence Reaver that they're going to be shipping out in the upcoming patch. The most important change coming on the new Essence Reaver is pretty big, and it's for 8 seconds after your ultimate, you gain 30% attack speed and basic attacks refund 20% of your remaining non-ultimate cooldowns for 8 seconds. This is really huge. I think for 8 seconds is way too long. For example, if Kai'Sa builds this item, she can ult to her target, getting a big shield, get off a few auto attacks, reset her abilities, reuse her invisibility, and just be impossible to kill, not to mention with the extra attack speed it gets upon using your ultimate. I do believe this item is going to be very overpowered, and I hope they nerf it soon without releasing it this strong. Riot wants to nerf crit AD carries a little bit, so Zeal is going up by 100 gold, and every Zeal item is being increased by 200 gold. So if you're rushing crit items, you're going to be a little bit farther behind than you were previously. This is going to be a pretty big buff for champions like Ezreal or maybe 𝐒𝐿𝐼, champions that don't really rely on crit that much. We're going to be seeing a pretty big nerf to Last Whisper, but don't worry, Lord Dominik's Regard and Mortal Reminder are going to be even stronger than they previously were, or at least in the late game. But Last Whisper is going to be getting hit pretty hard. It used to have 35% bonus armor penetration. Now in the upcoming patch, it's going to have 10% total. So if you want to build Last Whisper in the earlier mid game to cut down on the enemy team stacking armor, it's really not going to be helping you out that much. If you want to get the most bang for your buck, you're going to have to upgrade your Last Whisper as soon as possible into Lord Dominik's Regard or Mortal Reminder. Lord Dominik's Regard is losing its max percent health damage, which really wasn't that great anyways, unless the person was just stacking loads and loads of health on top of that. To make up for that, now Lord Dominik's Regard is going to be even better in the late game. It no longer gives you 35% bonus armor penetration. Instead, it's going to be giving you 35% total armor penetration, which is way better. 35% bonus armor penetration just peels away at whatever they have built in their kit. So let's say they have a natural 100 base armor, but they've built 400 armor. With a 35% total armor penetration, that's going to be affecting the whole thing. Mortal Reminder is keeping its passive, unlike Lord Dominik's Regard. Mortal Reminder is still going to be applying grievous wounds upon applying physical damage. However, it is losing 10% of its armor penetration, going from 35% bonus armor penetration down to 25% total armor penetration, which is still probably a little bit stronger than it was before. And we are also seeing the attack damage being lowered on Mortal Reminder. 10 attack damage was also removed from Lord Dominik's Regard. This is kind of irrelevant though, since the whole point of it is to shred armor, not necessarily to give you extra damage. damage. Blade of the Ruined King and Bloodthirster are both going to be receiving cost reductions by 200 gold. This is because Blade of the Ruined King and Bloodthirster have been very cost ineffective for a while now. They've been two of the most expensive items in the game, and they've been giving some of the least damage that any AD carry could possibly build. Hopefully this minus 200 gold will help bring them back into an AD carries build order to try to get AD carries away from this massive shredding crit full damage AD carry builds that have been going around right now. I personally don't think AD carries are going to be building Bloodthirster. Maybe people like Lucian might start building Blade of the Ruined King, but the thing is, with how strong Infinity Edge and Essence Reaver are going to be now, especially in the late game, I don't see a reason why you'd really want a Bork or a Bloodthirster in your kit unless you had no one pilling for you. The final AD carry item that is being tweaked is Maw of Malmortius, which is seeing an AD increase by 10 from 50 to 60, and the MR is being increased from 45 to 50. Not only that, but the shield value is being changed from 300 plus 100% bonus magic resistance to just a flat 350. So right off the bat, Maw of Malmortius is going to be stronger in the earlier mid game, but it is going to be getting weaker in the late game, or at least on the magic side of things, it still is going to be having more AD. And finally, they are adding a new AD based item. It's called Storm Razor, and it is insane, extremely powerful, and you're going to be seeing a lot. It is 3,400 gold, 3,400. It gives 64 AD, 25% attack speed, and it has two unique passives. The first one is if you haven't attacked in the last 2.5 seconds, your next basic attack will critically strike. This is going to be really good for junglers, especially because whenever you come in for a gank, you haven't attacked anything for 2.5 seconds, so it's going to be really strong. It's also going to help with clearing camps. I think they're going to have to change this to only apply to champions, or maybe only to minions or monsters, but having this apply to everything whenever you haven't attacked for 2.5 seconds seems like this could be good on every single person in the game, no matter their position, unless you are a mage. The second unique passive is whenever you critically strike, you gain 25% attack speed and 8% movement speed for 1.5 seconds. Bear in mind, the first passive already gives you a guaranteed critical strike if you haven't attacked in 2.5 seconds. So that means if you haven't attacked in 2.5 seconds, not only are you getting a free critical strike, but you're getting 25% attack speed and 8% movement speed for 1.5 seconds. That's really big. And once you do have 100% crit, you'll have a non-stop 25% bonus attack speed and 8% movement speed for 1.5 seconds. This item is definitely way too strong, and in the late game will completely unbalance things. They're definitely going to have to nerf it. That's going to wrap up the AD carry items. Now we're going to move on to the rune changes. We are going to be seeing one new Keystone and a complete rework to the minion dematerializer. First, let's look at the new Keystone, and it is called Hell of Blades. Now, Hell of Blades is going to be on the domination side as a keystone, primarily because the domination tree sucks in general, unless you are an assassin jungler like Kayn or 𝐒𝐿𝐼, who relies on Electrocute or Dark Harvest to secure kills. Hell of Blades is like an immediate lethal tempo. Instead of having to wait 1.5 seconds after attacking an enemy champion to get attack speed, it's immediate. After attacking an enemy champion, you gain 50 to 100% attack speed based on your level for the first 3 attacks made against that enemy champion. No more than 1.5 seconds can elapse between each auto attack, otherwise it will go on cooldown. Hell of Blades also allows you to temporarily exceed your attack speed limit, just like lethal tempo. So if you stacked a bunch of attack speed items and you get the bonus attack speed from Hell of Blades, you can go past the standard 2.5 max attack speed into however much attack speed you actually have. So whether that's 3 per second or 4 per second, just depends on how many items you have. I don't think you're going to see much of this keystone. I don't think it's that good. It's not as strong as lethal tempo. It doesn't last as long. If you see an AD carry taking this, it's because they're a bully AD carry, something like a Lucian, and they want a little bit more pressure in lane phase for quick trades. This isn't going to be that great of a keystone in the late game. Now, instead of just giving you extra damage against the minion you dematerialize, Minion Dematerializer is going to be giving you kind of random bonuses. So for example, if you use it on a melee minion, you're going to receive some extra permanent armor and movement speed. If you use it on a caster minion, you're going to be getting some permanent magic resist and adaptive attack damage or ability power, depending on if you're an AD or AP champion. And if you use it on a siege minion, you're going to be getting permanent HP and permanent bonus damage versus structures and epic monsters. So ideally, you want to just use it on siege minions. The final interesting change coming up in patch 8.10 is the jungle change, which is primarily going to affect your early game clear and your initial route. So as it stands right now, all you need is 3 camps to get level 3. So you can do your blue buff wolves red or blue buffs raptors red, really any camp in any order. As long as you do 3 camps, you're going to get level 3. They don't like that for some reason. I guess they feel like it gives junglers too much pressure, and they say that they want to give junglers less early game pressure, which is kind of weird because I don't feel like junglers have that much pressure in higher elo and in ranked play, so this kind of feels like it might be geared more towards lower elos, which is strange because typically whenever Riot does changes, it's geared towards the pro scene. And the new upcoming changes in patch 8.10, they want you to prioritize Rift Scuttle to try to force junglers to fight each other. I know this seems like a good idea because, oh, it's more fun to be fighting. However, in the first 2 to 3 levels, for the most part, one jungler is much stronger than the other. For example, let's say you're Graves and the other jungler's melee. They have no way of fighting you. They can't contest the Scuttle Crab. Or let's say you're Nunu and the enemy jungler is anybody else. They can't contest Scuttle Crab, so you can easily take that. Or let's say you're an off-meta jungler, someone like Wukong, who's kind of squishy, not the best at fighting 1v1, and the enemy jungler is someone like Udyr or Xin Zhao. You'll have no way of fighting them, so it's not really gonna force fights. It's just gonna force you to pick meta-based junglers, and if you don't, you're automatically gonna lose the early game because you're gonna miss out on getting a cheap level 3. If you don't get one of the Rift Scuttles, you have to do 4 camps to get level 3, or if you do 3 camps including Krugs, you'll get level 3, but bear in mind, Krugs take forever to do, and they do loads of damage to virtually every single jungler out there, so doing Krugs to get level 3 isn't really a viable option, so you'll be stuck doing blue, wolves, raptors, and red just for a simple level 3. Meanwhile, Nunu only did his blue, red buff, and took Scuttle, and he's level 3, so you had to do way more work, and you got way less payoff. I'm excited to see Essence Reaver as a standalone item. It's also a massive indirect nerf to Tryndamere. Since his passive gives him crit, he can no longer rely on just building Essence Reaver as his only cooldown item to get 40% CDR. I think that is amazing. I am really not looking forward to Infinity Edge giving huge amounts of true damage in the late game for AD carries. I do not like that. And I also don't like the late game buffs for AD carries that kill tanks with a 35% total armor penetration added to Lord Dominik's regard. I don't think that's cool. And the final thing I don't like is the Rift Scuttles. I think that's just going to enforce picking highly meta OP champions like Graves and Nunu right now. I don't think that's going to be good for the game. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.